titled The Global Creator Economy.
$528.39 billion by 2030.
Hey, my name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of my consulting offer. We help people become management consultants, and I'll go ahead and tell you that one of the best things that I've done in the past year is working with Shane, especially on our YouTube channel. I can't say enough things about Shane, about just his knowledge, how much he's invested in us, as well as just how much he cares about YouTube and just pushing our thinking. So just for context, we had been running YouTube for about a year, and we're just struggling to get any leads or traction on YouTube. But after working with Shane, we now have like 4x the time number of leads coming in every single week like we did a year ago when it was just us trying to figure it out. Shane, thanks for working with us, and I'm excited that all the people that you're going to help change their lives and their YouTube channels.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Tapa. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Shane Hummus. He's really been helping me with my YouTube. Yeah, this guy really knows his stuff. I think the biggest thing that he can provide is just systems for automating your content. As you know, it's really hard to be creative all the time, and he's really helped hire the right people and give them the right systems to essentially streamline the content, script writing, creative direction, ideation, stuff like that. And then also monetizing your content in the back end. He's great for that as well. So yeah.
Hey, my name is Clifford Stemmy. I've got a couple of different YouTube channels, but something I've always struggled with is turning the views that I'm pretty good at getting actually into dollars, which can be a lot trickier, but is actually usually the end goal that you're aiming for with a YouTube channel or something like that. Recently, I was able to chat with Shane and do some work with him. He gave me a ton of really great advice. Basically made me something like $24,000 more per year without really having to do much of anything. And honestly, based on the advice that he has given me and some of the action steps going forward that I'll be taking as a direct result, that number is probably going to go up significantly. And yeah, he's a great guy. He'll definitely help you out. And I definitely recommend that you work with him.
All right. What is happening? We've got to do the we're back in the kitchen. Okay. We're back in the kitchen, guys. Wrist twisting. Go ahead. Let me know if the audio's good. Also send your messages to everyone, not hosts and panelists. All right. Cool. Okay, we'll wait for some people to come in here. All right. Kevin, why are you raising your hand? Okay, guys. So, um, I do have some slides to go over today, and we can definitely go over those slides. I kind of want to talk about some other stuff today. Where are you guys calling in from? Okay, got the slides over here. Hmm. All right, a lot of people from the US today. That's what I figured. Okay, cool. So I kind of want to go over some pro tips today. Um, yeah, I want to go over some stuff that we don't typically go over. What are the Siberia? Nice. What are the biggest problems you guys are having with YouTube right now? Go ahead, comment in the chat. What are the biggest problems you're having with YouTube? Okay. Grow your channel when you start. What's stopping you from starting, Andres? Larry's struggling with content views and subscribers. Okay. What's stopping you from starting, Matt? Andres is considering a lot, but I kind of get anxious about it. Okay. Um, well, yeah, and Matt, I want your answer too. What's stopping you from starting? This is going to be interactive. So, I really like the thing is like there's never going to be a perfect time to start, right? There's never going to be this time where the stars just align and everything's perfect to start. Yeah. So you really just need to start. Like you just need to force yourself to start uploading videos. And I always say this, I'll say it, I probably say it every single time. I recommend if you haven't uploaded your first video, and people think I'm joking when I say this. I'm not. I recommend you literally pull your phone out right now during this live and record your first video. Just record your first video and then upload it to YouTube right now during this live. Like that is like you need to take action on this, right? The worst thing you can possibly do is think about starting for like a year and then not start. You will basically get zero. Like here's the analogy. If you let's just say I assume most people here know how to ride a bike, right? Let's just say instead of just getting on the bike and trying to ride it, you watched every documentary on bikes, you read every book about bikes, you watched every movie about bikes, and you watched all the YouTube channels that cover bikes, and it took you like 2-3 years to do all of that, right? And then you get on the bike and you try to ride it. Do you think you'd be able to ride a bike? Probably not. You probably would fall down just like everyone else, no matter how much research or information you knew, right? It's the same thing with making YouTube videos, guys. You just have to start. You can't try to think ahead, right? You can't overthink things and try to think ahead. You just have to get on the bike and start riding it, okay? You are not going to get better unless you just get on the bike and start riding it, okay? And it's same thing with YouTube. You're not going to get better at YouTube by watching every video under the sun about YouTube. You just have to pull your phone out and start recording, right? And the iPhones, by the way, now are insanely good, right? You could even buy an older one. You could buy the current iPhone is iPhone 16. You can buy the iPhone 15 and it's really, really good. So, and I think Google Pixel is really good too. Some of the Samsungs are pretty good, but I think iPhone and Google Pixel are probably the two best. So you really just need to get started. Okay, Matt says I wanted to start after my current music project that I just started. What is your what do you want your channel to be about, Matt? Is it about music? If so, then why don't you just record some stuff about music, right? So like let me give you guys an example. I love using this example. It made me so happy when I saw this. Let me see here. Share my screen. Okay, so this is like one of the best examples I've ever seen of this. So this kid right here recorded his first ever time cold calling, right? Which is absolutely brutal. If anyone's ever done cold calling, you know it's like really nerve-wracking. I've done door-to-door sales. I've done a little bit of cold calling as well. And it's nerve-wracking because most of the people are going to be annoyed as hell at you, right? And so, especially when you're doing it for the first time, it's really nerve-wracking. And so all he did is he just cold called and he just recorded his first time cold calling. So it's literally 0 extra seconds spent for him. 0 extra seconds. Right? He just recorded it's like a live video, no edits, of him cold calling people for the first time. And he got absolutely destroyed, right? He didn't make any sales. He got absolutely destroyed by everyone. So, but that's fine. That's totally fine. It's so relatable, right? It's so relatable because I watched it because I remember back to my first time cold calling. So it was a little bit kind of, nostalgic, I guess you could say. And I'm like cheering on this kid, man. I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea who this kid is, but I'm like rooting for him, And then if you're a beginner and you've never done any business stuff, this is super relatable to you, right? You're like, oh man, I struggled with my first time cold calling, or I'm scared to cold call, So it's literally just like he spent 0 extra seconds doing this. Okay, to be fair, the time that it takes him to upload it, right? That's about all. Like, so he probably spent like an extra 30 minutes making this video. And he just did the same thing that he was going to do anyways, right? So think about stuff like this. Like, why can't you just record what you're doing? Like if you're doing some kind of music project, try to think of how you can record what you're already doing, Matt. And just like upload it to YouTube. So you're already going to do it anyways. You know, just as an example, I've kind of thought about this the other day. I've been testing out some different script writing stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking like, maybe I should just record my screen while I do this, you know? And then I can just like send it to my editors and they can clip out the parts that are good, you know, and like just try to think of things like this, you know? Um, And yeah, just because here's the thing, guys. Everyone on this call, including me, we're all geniuses when it comes to making excuses for why we can't do something, right? Why we can't take action. We're all geniuses. We all have the best excuses. Like we could just mental gymnastics. I've heard the most amazing mental gymnastics of people explaining why they can't just start, right? We're all like geniuses when it comes to making up excuses for why we can't do something. Try to use that genius and flip it to the other side. Make up excuses for why you can do it. Okay? Always be thinking like, how can I make a YouTube video? How can I make a YouTube video? How can I make a YouTube video? Try to think about that. All right. Yeah, I mean, this kid he blew up his channel. This is one video, right? 357K views. I wish I got paid for first time cold calling or door knocking too. So yeah, it's like let's just say you've never, knocked on someone's door and tried to sell them something. Just record your first time doing it. Say you've never cold called. Record your first time doing it. You've never sent a cold email. Record your first time doing it, right? I wish I got paid for making excuses. Nice. Okay. Let's see here. Yep. Max is talking about analysis paralysis on YouTube. INFP. Yep. Yeah, see, the people that kind of like are the most scared to do stuff, those people tend to be very detail oriented and they also tend to be like pretty intellectual and smart. So like when you actually get yourself to do it, a lot of the time you'll end up making like doing better work than the average person. But the trick is you just have to get yourself to take action. And then some people are just like a raging bull, right? They don't think at all and they just like take action immediately. Right. And those are the types of people that you need to get to like think a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, you just have to understand yourself, right? Yeah, the Myers-Briggs test is pretty good. I like that test. But yeah, just kind of understand yourself and understand what your strengths and your weaknesses are. I would say it's quite common for creatives to fall on the side of, not taking enough action. And you really just have to make yourself do it. Like almost some of the best creatives in the world. I think Jerry Seinfeld, for instance, right? Jerry Seinfeld. He made himself write jokes every single day for like, I think 20 or 30 years or something. Like he would actually like mark his calendar. Every single day he would have to write at least one joke for like and he put an X on his calendar, right? Every single day. Like that was the one thing he had to do. I think it's a little bit different than that. I think it might have been like writing jokes for 30 minutes or something, but that just shows you like the dedication to consistency, right? If you write jokes every single day for 20 years, you can't not be good at comedy, right? You will have to be world class if you write jokes every single day for 20 years. Write jokes every day. Yeah, I guess there's no YouTube video about it, but yeah, I know because I watched his stuff because he's a legend. And yeah, I mean, just like you can't not be good if you work on YouTube every day. It doesn't even take 20 years. I mean, he got pretty rich for far before the 20-year mark, but and he got very successful. But even just for like 3 years, if you work on YouTube every day for 3 years, like you can't not be successful. It's going to happen. It's going to happen if you just consistently do it. Now, If you have a good system, it's going to speed things up. But the big thing is you just have to take action, right? It's kind of like going to the gym. You are not going to get in shape if you don't, like, you're not going to build muscle, right? If you don't go to the gym. So, like, a lot of people will literally tell, uh, like, their personal trainers, they'll literally tell people, just drive to the gym every single day. And that's you can mark your calendar. As long as you just drive to the gym, even if you just step in the door and then walk out immediately. And then what'll happen is people eventually, they might do that a few times and not work out, but then eventually they'll be like, well, I went through the trouble of driving here, so I might as well work out. And they go and they do a little 5-10 minute workout. And then eventually they just get in a habit of it and they're just doing full workouts. Right. So just make yourself work on YouTube every single day. And it's just, it's going to happen. You're going to have a video that pops off eventually. All right, let me see here. Channel properly. Hindrances, wanting to know if an LLC is needed. Yeah, I would say like 80% of the clients I work with have an issue with analysis paralysis and overthinking things. Probably more like 90%. Yeah, I'd say probably 90%. The B2B clients I work with, to be fair, like, usually they've kind of overcome that. Like the business owners I work with. But for B2C, like people who are just starting on YouTube, yeah, probably 90-95%. And then once in a while, I'll work with a client who has the other problem, which is they're just like a bull in a china shop and they're just like take action without even thinking. They're just like uploading the most crappy videos ever. But that's very, very rare. Okay. Charisse says, how to set up channel properly. Hindrance is wanting to know if LLC is needed. Nope, you don't need an LLC. Also finding niche because I am good in a lot of areas. I was thinking to focus on one thing and branch out later. Yeah, so Charisse, what you want to do is think of solving problems for the past version of yourself. Like if you had a time machine, let's say a time capsule, right? And you could make a video with a flash drive and send it back in time to yourself. And then the younger version of you could watch that video. What would you tell yourself? If you had 20 minutes, like a 20-minute video, that's the only room that was on the flash drive, and you could send it back in time. What would you tell yourself? And, you might have told yourself things in many different areas, right? Maybe, the three main areas are health, wealth, and relationships. Relationships is not necessarily romantic relationships. It's just any human relationship. So giving speeches, for instance, would fall under the relationship category because that's communication with other people. So think of yourself like what content would you make for yourself if you could go back in time? What would you do? And that's going to be a very a good way to kind of think of the types of videos that you could make. Just like trying to help out the younger version of yourself. So that's what I did when I first started the channel. And I talked about, for instance, college degrees. I talked about college degrees. And by the way, that's just the place to start. You want to use the icon method. If you don't know what the icon method is, go look up Shane Hummus Unfiltered. Oh, I did actually just change the name of the channel. So Shane Hummus Content Growth Engine. Okay. And then icon method. Look up some of my videos. Let's see, video idea. Yeah, how to never run out of YouTube video ideas right here. Like these two videos right here. And you'll never run out of ideas if you do that. So yeah, younger version of yourself. That's the best way to kind of initially come up with ideas. I mean, once in a while, I'll run into somebody who didn't do that. So just as an example, you could be like a female dating coach for men. So in that case, you wouldn't be giving advice to the younger version of yourself. But I would say 95% of people that have made successful businesses, personal brands on YouTube, they're just making content essentially for the younger version of themselves. They solve a problem. They have a painful problem. They solve that painful problem. They help other people solve the painful problem. That's pretty much how it works. All right, Larry, welcome back. Kevin, door to door is rough. Yep, absolutely. I have an offline simple flip phone, but I can't use my friend's Chromebook. I can use my friend's Chromebook. Yep, absolutely. Do it. When I first started, guys, I would go to the local library and I would get these little passwords that I could get on the computer for 1 hour at a time. And I would download, against their rules, I might add, I would download screen recording software and video editing software, and I'd have to do it within that little 1 hour period, or else I'd get kicked out and I'd have to log back in. And so it was like quite difficult for me to make the videos, but I made it work. Those were my first ever videos that I uploaded to YouTube. I did not have a phone. I did not have a computer myself. So try to think of excuses for why you can do something. Okay. And that's a big thing. CapCut's without a doubt the best for beginners, Larry. Yeah, CapCut's great. I did like 30 takes before posting my video. Yeah, you you don't need to do that, Chidita. But I mean, hey, if you want to do that at first, that's fine. But you don't need to. If it's worth doing badly. Yeah, absolutely. You got to be bad before you can get good. No, nobody is good on their first try. I also have shiny object syndrome. Yep, that's another common one. Um, I had that too. I tried just about every business model out there. I tried Amazon FBA. I tried drop shipping. I tried oh man. Uh I tried SMMA. I tried different trading stuff with like crypto and stuff like that. I tried all just all kinds of stuff. I tried just about every business model that all the YouTube gurus talk about. Oh yeah, Amazon Kindle. I tried writing books. I tried making websites, affiliate marketing, all of it. And the funny thing is, all those business models work if you already are getting traffic with a YouTube channel, right? They all work if you could drive traffic to any of them, right? But the problem is traffic. You got to get traffic for any of those business models. And YouTube is a great way to get traffic, not just traffic, but highly qualified, highly engaged, highly nurtured traffic. All right. You mentioned editors. Do we need to find one? Nope, you definitely do not need an editor at first. That's something you get when you have a team. What's a good way to start getting traction as a beginner? It's a good question. Okay, we can definitely talk about that. All right, Kevin. Um, I'm going to answer your question. What's a good way to get traction as a beginner? But I'm going to do it in Kevin's niche. So I'm going to start looking up some stuff in Kevin's niche here in a minute. So Kevin, stick around. Also, Kevin, have you taken action on the things that I told you to last week? Did you change the thumbnails and stuff? Okay, let me see. What's a good way to start getting traction? Yeah, so Raul, I'm gonna answer that question, but let me get through the questions first. Ari, I think that stage fright could be a part of the equation as well. Being on camera can be hard for folks, and then the symptoms of stage fright keeps them in their heads. I was there. Yeah, yeah, totally. Listen, whenever you feel like fear or you come up against some problem, I'll just give you an example, guys. Facebook is notorious for being terrible for business owners. Like they'll shadow ban your account for absolutely no reason. They'll shut down your ads for absolutely no reason, just zero reason giving. It's almost like they're just randomly just pulling ads out of the hat and shutting them down. There's this terrible communication. Like Facebook is a plague for business owners. And because of that, a lot of business owners stop using Facebook ads because it's just such a pain. And whenever that happens, you have to realize, like, whenever you have a frustration or you have a fear or you have some kind of negative emotion, you have to realize that millions of other people are probably having the same exact thing. So if you just persevere and push through, all those other people are going to drop off, and that's less competition for you, right? All those other people are going to drop off. So whenever you run into an obstacle, some type of fear, some type of negative emotion, just realize that that's an opportunity for you to shed a lot of your competition because most people are going to give up and you can just keep pushing. Okay, Larry says, I'm currently on my second channel. I got frustrated and deleted my first one. Don't do that. Yeah, do not delete your first channel. I think you might be able to recover that, by the way, Larry. Look into recovery. You might be able to recover your channel. Meritage. I keep on forgetting your name. Meritage. Yeah, Meritage. I think that's it. So disappointed. The sounds start then disappear, then no speaker on earbud. It is connection to bummer. Is this being recorded? Are we having any audio issues, guys? Let me know if you're having any audio issues. Meritage seems to be having some issues with the audio. Jason, I used to write daily jokes with a point system for a total of 10 points. That would be 1 belly laugh, 2 chuckles, or 5 smiles, etc. Yeah, there you go, Jason. That's good. Andres, that's what I have. Haha, paralysis analysis. Yep. Okay. Eduardo says personal trainer here, and that's solid advice. Yeah, man, just like get people to just show up, right? And eventually you're going to get bored showing up and not doing anything, and you're going to be like, all right, I guess I'll actually try to get better. I mean, guys, like if you just commit to uploading a video a day, like the first video could just be a 5-second video of you just being like, hi, and upload it, right? And if you just commit to uploading a video a day, you're going to get bored uploading, crappy videos eventually, and you're going to start getting creative and like making them better, So, it's just like PewDiePie, respect to him because he uploaded a video a day for 10 years. 10 years. 3,560 something days or some 3,650 something days. 10 years of uploading a video a day, right? And he became the biggest YouTuber in the world doing that. So, that's kind of an example. Like you're gonna by the time you get to like day 20, day 30, you're gonna get bored and you're gonna start trying to make better videos. Okay, I have my phone connected to audio. Meritage is good now. I wrote what you said today. Okay, good stuff. Jason, I'm looking at a black screen with a silver on the screen at the bottom. That's a bit weird. Anyone else having issues with the video? Meritage says, I think I have a great niche. Could you please look at my banner? Yeah, let's check out your banner. Coaching, gray divorce, and gray singles. Okay. What is I'm not quite sure what gray divorce is, Meritage. That might be something. I do like the banner a lot. It looks great. I'm a little confused personally what gray divorce and gray singles is. Are you sure that everyone in your target audience is going to understand what this is? Because if you're not 100% sure about that, you might want to change this so that it's more obvious, right? So yeah, I would potentially change this, right? Because unless you're 100% sure that your target demographic knows what gray divorce and gray singles is, because I'm not 100% sure what that is, and so chances are they won't be as well. So I might change this to just make it a little more clear who your target demographic is. But yeah, this looks great. Very obvious what it is, and I just made a video on Shane Hummus grandpa content. I just made a video on this, and basically it's this new trend that's happening where grandpa and grandma videos are going viral. So basically, essentially, it's wisdom content and it's content for older demographics. This is starting to really do well. Like even in the business niche, like some of the absolute top tier people in the business niche are crushing it. So yeah, this is great. I think this is a great opportunity. So keep it up. Keep it up. That's a really good start. Is there a way to put a disclaimer on the channel? Yes, you can put a disclaimer in the about section. So it would be this section right here. So I think this would be where the disclaimer would go, the description, the about section. I will start a few videos to publish now, but most I have to wait till the divorce. Okay. I would say why you should start a YouTube channel even if nobody watches. There's a video I saw. This lady, it might be a real inspiration to you, because this is kind of one of the people I talked about in the quote unquote grandpa content. I hope this isn't offensive, by the way. I don't mean for this to be offensive at all. But quote unquote grandpa and grandma content. Basically just showing that there's a massive amount of demand for uh, wisdom content, people that are older making content. There's a massive amount of demand for that. So this lady, for instance, she basically just documented her spine surgery, spinal issues, and then she started making some really good money from YouTube because, hey, guess what? Other older people also have to have spinal surgeries. And she just documented her experience, basically. This is a real inspiration. And her videos are quite simple, right? Just recorded with her iPhone, very simple videos. And they do quite well. So hopefully that's a bit of an inspiration for you. Let me see. Old man advice. Yeah, this one here. I mean, old man's advice, 29 million views. 29 million views, right? He uploaded a second video, an old man's advice, 17 million views, right? The most basic videos ever, too. Looks like they were, I mean, he's got the black bars, right? He's got the black bars on the side. Super, super, super basic video. So yeah, definitely keep going, Meritage. That's awesome. Okay, YouTube, your boy, the coach, you cut is good as well. Okay, nice. Hi, Shane, panelists. What do you think of our Yeah, great question, Ariana. Relatability or expertise? Both. They're really interested in both. Um, really just take a inventory of where you are, right? And be objective about it. Try to think like, are you an expert at the subject? Are you kind of like an intermediate? Are you in the middle? Or are you just a kind of a learner, a beginner? And just take a realistic and honest inventory of where you're at and just make videos on that in whatever given subject it is. Um, so, I do notice that some people are really undervalue themselves. Just as an example, one of my clients, I told him to write down all the things that he'd accomplished, and he didn't even mention the fact that he built a $3 million a year Amazon FBA business. He didn't even mention that. He's like, oh, but there's businesses out there that do, $300 million a year. So I'm not an expert. And I'm like, no, you're still an expert. It's like an NBA player comparing themselves to LeBron. Like, oh, I'm not that good at basketball. LeBron's way better than me. Like, you're still an NBA player. You're really, really good at basketball. Okay. So, yeah, just try to be honest with yourself, Ariana, about where you are at, because there's a lot of demand for all different types. The human mystery, how much time to arrive to results? Well, if you do what I say, the fastest I've seen people get to 10K per month as a complete beginner was 18 days. Typical is usually about 3 to 6 months. That's pretty typical. How do you or where do you store your YouTube videos? Thinking of cloud or external hard drive, was wondering. We store it, I believe, in Google Drive. I believe we store the copies of our videos in Google Drive. Shane, you have better voice than most people. Did you work on your voice quality? It sounds natural. No, I don't think I have a better voice than most people. I think that my charisma is actually not that great, to be honest with you. Been working on it, also started a new job and had to do a lot of online training. I will say, oh yeah, Jason, I will say one thing you can do to it's like a little bit of a hack to work on your presentations is when you first start the sentence, start it off on a high note and then end the sentence on a low note. Kind of the technical term for this is breaking rapport. So the high note is building rapport, the low note is breaking rapport. So just as an example, you might say something like, there's a lot of older people that are doing extremely well on YouTube right now. So you see how I kind of started it off on a high note. This is kind of building rapport. And then I ended it on a low note. It's important to end things on a low note because it makes you sound more confident when you do that. If you can also, but starting it off on a high note makes you sound a little bit more relatable. But then you end it on a low note and it makes you sound more confident. And then also you can start off kind of talking a little bit faster and then end the sentence a little bit slower, and you can kind of vary it in the middle, right? So again, just as an example, I've been noticing this trend lately of older people that I like to call wisdom content. And basically, the way this trend works is older people are just uploading wisdom that they've learned from their life and just posting it to YouTube, right? You see how I kind of like, so I started off high, I went low, and then I started a new sentence off high, and then I went low. So that actually is a bit of a hack for YouTube. I don't actively do it anymore, but I actively did that when I first started because I had a problem with kind of having a monotone voice. I think eventually I just kind of got used to it, and I just kind of started talking to the camera a little bit more naturally and kind of like it was a friend. But yeah, that's basically what I did, Jason. Kevin, been working on it. Also started a new job and had to do a lot online training for that too. Okay, hey, congrats, Kevin. That's awesome. I'm sure you're pretty busy with that new job right now, but yeah, make sure you get on that stuff I told you, Kevin. Jason, I can list of various things at work, music, podcasts, etc. What would be the best thing to listen to help me out? My channel is a voice of a Niner faithful. Oh, I'm a 49ers fan too, Jason. Um, so yeah, I mean I'm biased, but I would say Shane Hummus, my second channel, Content Growth Engine. This is what I would be listening to if I were you. With that being said, Niner content is a little bit more on the entertainment side of things, and I would probably just be listening to maybe other channels and kind of just studying them, right? Study what they're doing. Don't just listen to them, but study what they're doing, and why they're doing it and why they're successful, right? So I've noticed that some of the Niner content creators they like to go and eat stuff at random restaurants, for instance. Think about why they're doing that. Why is it that they're including that in their content? And yeah, just look over that stuff. I think that would probably be the best use of your time listening to stuff. Okay, Jason, I'm told my voice makes me sound short, although I'm not. Interesting. Okay. Audio's all good. No audio issues here. My best performing video has 3.3K views. That's great for me, but I know that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. No, that's a great start, Kevin. That's great. Elderly, anyone over 50. Yeah, I'd say anyone over 50, guys, because basically, I think I could be a little off on the stats, but somewhere around 80% of all the wealth in the US is owned by 45 or 50 and above. It's somewhere around there, 80 to 90% by 45 and 50 and above. And so it actually makes a lot of sense just from a strategic standpoint to advertise to those people. I think I saw this channel, Azul, I think his name was. What was Azul? Retirement. Yeah, this guy right here. Just as an example, this guy talks about how to retire, as a elderly person, right? And he's doing extremely well. And I would be willing to bet he is making a lot of money from this channel, like a lot of money. And it's because probably almost everyone that watches his channel are older folks, right? They're in the elderly demographic. So, that is the demographic that actually has money, which means advertisers are going to pay more to show up on these videos. It means it's going to be easier for him to sell stuff because they actually have money, et cetera, et cetera. It's just easier altogether. So this is really an untapped um, part of YouTube is content specifically made for people that are in the older demographics. It's very untapped, very untapped. In the words of the Doors, break on through. When I pushed past my stage fright, I actually saw an increase in my self-esteem. I think at the end of the day, it's for us. Yeah, absolutely, Ari. 100%. Gray divorce and 50 plus singles. I'm still not sure, Meritage, what gray divorce means. I truly don't know what that means. That might be a kind of a insider term. it might be very well known in your circle, but don't assume that the mass market of people are going to understand what that means. Um, yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. You probably know your demographic better than me. Maybe we'll just type it in here. Gray divorce. I bet a lot of my YouTube recommendations are going to get a little weird. Okay, gray divorce. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are actually typing this. Okay. All right. So yeah, it looks like a lot of people are actually typing this in. So it seems like that is um, a pretty good term. I think you were right on that, Meredith. Cocoa biscuits, gray divorce, older people getting divorced, airy, and not them. I think all performers must get to this point, knowing that we're performing spirit through us and not through anyone else, even on YouTube. Any opinions on this? Yeah. Yeah, you got to push through. Absolutely. Is YouTube AI proof? Absolutely, yes. YouTube is AI proof. I could go on a whole tangent about this. You should be using AI to help you make content, but at the end of the day, YouTube is one of the most AI proof things because it's people relating to other people, right? So, it's one of the most AI proof things. It's social connection, like it's people relating to other people, and AI can't copy that. And everyone knows. Let's be honest. Everyone knows when it's an AI voice or if it's an AI avatar, and you pretty much immediately click off at that point, unless it's very specific types of content. So yes, YouTube is absolutely AI proof. It's as AI proof as anything out there. Thanks for your content. As Soli says, thanks for your content as someone that works best in a remote setting due to physical limitations. Just one question. Oh yeah, absolutely. Most of what I see is American based. I'm in Canada. No, absolutely not. You can definitely make content in Canada. In fact, one client I worked with made content specifically for the Canadian stock market. So you can definitely make content in Canada. Yeah, yeah. I don't really watch much of the news, to be honest with you, Meritage. But yeah, it seems like gray divorce is a very hot topic right now. So yeah, you could definitely make a channel on that. Ariana Delaney, objectivity is a challenge when I have so much EQ versus IQ. I don't know if you need to be objective about stuff. Sometimes it's just sharing your opinion, right? Sometimes you can just share your opinion on stuff. Miss Warmy, 2 years in, almost 8K subscribers now. It's growing, but too slowly. Any feedback or advice? Well, first of all, I don't personally like making shorts if you don't already have your long form content dialed in. I would highly recommend getting your long form content dialed in before you think of making shorts. But yeah, good. Keep going. Keep going. I would say focus on long form content, Miss Warmy. Ariana thinks I'll think about more balancing the two of them, but thank you, Shane. You got it, Ariana. Ari says, how much money did Old Man Video actually make? Would you say that YouTube has unlimited money potential? I mean, do you mean unlimited in the like nothing has unlimited money? There's nothing that has unlimited money, but I think you mean that like figuratively. Yeah, you can make a ton of money. I mean, YouTube, his Mr. Beast's channel has been valued at $10 billion, right? So, and it's just going to go up from here. So, YouTube is stealing all the watch hours away from Netflix and traditional TV. Yeah, it's just going to go up from here. And I'd say only probably 20% of the world is really watching YouTube at this point. Lots of room for growth. Cocoa biscuits. Problem is with my type of content, it's not YouTube friendly. The truth sounds like hate to those that hate the truth. Well, I mean, you can talk about controversial topics. So this is actually a really good question, Cocoa Biscuits. You can talk about controversial topics and do it in a tasteful way. I think that a lot of the times the people get banned talking about controversial topics do it in a very untasteful way, right? So just as an example, instead of personally attack, like this is something I see all the time. A lot of people don't understand that you can't just personally attack people. Like that's actually illegal in many countries, right? Unless you have an abundance of evidence. Like you cannot say this person is a terrible person. first of all, you probably don't know the person, right? You have no idea who they are. You just know what the news reports on them. But what you can do is you can attack their ideas, right? You can argue with their ideas, and I'd say generally speaking, you can do that on YouTube with almost any topic, as long as you approach it with caution, and you can talk about just about any topic. So, and to be honest with you, controversial content does quite well on YouTube. So I think that's just an excuse, Cocoa Biscuits. Jason, awesome. Thanks. You got it, Jason. Meritage says, okay, I made the change. This will get Gray and 50 plus viewers. Yeah, I think that's great. Live the life you love. Awesome. Good stuff, Meritage. See. Oh yeah. This is great. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that makes it clear. I think even people who don't know what gray divorce is, they're gonna know what that means just from inference. Okay. Trading Pennies says, I'm old and let's just say I'm not the most photogenic. Could you throw me a direction to look into? I'm not sure what your question is, Trading Pennies. Direction to look into what? And you don't need to be photogenic on YouTube. Nobody really cares. As long as you're like clean, right? You don't want to be you know, like have really greasy hair or something. Charisse, I wanted to share about notes. I was running up and down the bleachers memorizing the music and was solid. When I got on stage, the music grew wings and flew away. I went to faking and singing vowels. Stage and went to crying. I was getting my associate degree at the time in music theory. Notes, all of them are not going to be perfect. You must remember the thousands of notes you did correctly and not the ones that didn't go. Vocal teacher said, I did not even know you messed up, and I know the music. That was the best faking I've ever seen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's super helpful for creative folks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and another thing to note about creative folks, I think I mentioned this last week, but a lot of time putting restrictions or constraints on yourself as a creative actually results in the best output. So just as an example, Dr. Seuss wrote Cat in the Hat because his friend dared him to write a book that has less than 100 words. And that was his most, popular book ever. And then I think he repeated that for Green Eggs and Ham. I could be off on that, but it was something similar to that for Green Eggs and Ham, which was his second most popular book ever. So a lot of the time putting constraints on yourself, which one obvious constraint is just time constraint, like you have to get it done within this time, results in the best output. Jason Brodowski, as a guy in my 50s, spent 3 hours typing a 10-page email of everything I've ever learned to a young guy. But turns out he listens to a reading list of 1,500 book reading list on 4x speed. YouTuber Jesus Croissant, Kids Today. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, there's this one wisdom channel. What is it? The Ranch, some older guy ranch. Yeah, there you go. YouTube is so smart. You can literally just type in older guy ranch and it knows what I'm talking about. It's so smart now. But yeah, Dry Creek Wrangler School, he just sets up his camera and he just starts talking about, just wisdom stuff, just like his wisdom from life. Be different, be unique, be you, just wisdom content. And he's crushing it. Not related to your long form content. Can you create shorts that are not related to your long form content, or does it need to be related to the same niche? Oh, no, your shorts should absolutely be related to your long form content stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Ari, the posted questions were like from 20 minutes prior. I appreciate you going back to answer every single one. You're the best. You got it, Ari. Thank you for that advice. You got it, Meritage. Concerned American, you may have covered this already, but please touch on how a YouTube channel is monetized. Well, So the classic form of monetization means you get to make money from AdSense. That's what monetize means in like the YouTube sense of things. And for that, you need 4,000 hours of watch time, and you need uh 1,000 subscribers. So 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. Then you apply for monetization. You do that in your YouTube studio, and you would apply for monetization, and usually they're going to accept you. Most of the time, like probably 99% of the time, they're going to accept you, unless you're making like AI content, or like when I say AI content, I mean like totally AI created content, just slop basically, like low quality content. Now, I have a different definition of the word monetize, because I think there's much better ways to monetize that are off of YouTube. For instance, affiliate marketing. So, you can post links to affiliate products. If the person ends up buying the product, you get a small percentage of the sale. That's an example of affiliate marketing. I personally think that there's other way better ways to monetize affiliate marketing, creating your own digital products, having a coaching program, or an agency or something like that. Okay. Kevin says, or have a pic of yourself covered in resin shavings. Oh, is that what that was, Kevin? It looked like it kind of looked like you punched a mirror and then took a picture of yourself in the mirror with that picture. I hope you changed that picture, Kevin. It was very, very difficult to see you. Michael C, should we focus on YouTube, or can we do IG at the same time? Which is better ROI on time? I would say focus on YouTube. Now, if you're making shorts, of course, you can just post the shorts on both platforms. But definitely YouTube is a better ROI. Magic Park Memories. I met a man over the weekend at Walt Disney World, and he live streams and makes $10,000 to $25,000 a month live streaming on YouTube. Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of different ways to make money. And I do think that live streaming is going to get bigger in the future, by the way. I think that live streaming is going to become a bigger thing in the future. So yeah, it's because if you think about it, it's a little bit more interaction, right? AI can't live stream. You can't live stream AI. So there's a little more interaction there. YouTube, Waryland, is doing a channel on skincare too cliche? Oh, no, not at all. Skincare is like a never-ending niche, right? It just never ends, the amount of people that consume that kind of content. Jason says, I have an INFP doppelganger, same age, looks, and sounds like me, who teamed up with an extroverted high school friend to form a billion-dollar toy company, Spin Master. Yeah, never met my extroverted sales buddy. Everyone I know is a creative introvert and hates sales. Yeah. Oh, so there's a whole book about this, Jason. It's called Traction. There's another one called Rocket Fuel by the same guy. And in these books, they talk about yeah, I don't know. Okay, book. There we go. In these books, they talk about, this one here talks about the combination of kind of like introverts and extroverts when they team up together. Now, the way they describe it is more of an integrator and a visionary. So a visionary and an integrator in the book, but it's 100% spot on. It's like, yeah, when people team up with each other, the right people, magic can happen, because introverts have like certain talents. They're able to think much more deeply about things, typically, and they're able to kind of like sense trends and just it's almost like magic. They're able to just kind of like see things that other people can't see. And then extroverts have their strengths as well, right? So yeah, Traction, really good book. Traction. This is more of the step-by-step guide on how to do it in a business. But Rocket Fuel talks about that combination of kind of introverts and extroverts. So yeah, really, really true. Definitely. So as an example, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak. This is a really good example of the introvert-extrovert dynamic. Wozniak was introvert, but he was quite intelligent about stuff, and Jobs was the face of the company. So integrator, visionary. Yeah. Okay. Do I need a website for Meritage? You don't need a website. You do need to set up what's known as a Calendly link. You need to set up a Calendly link for that. So basically, a Calendly link allows people to book calls with you. So you definitely need that. Let me see here. Fitness first mindset. Which is better, fitness versus war story niche? Both are pretty good. I would personally say fitness niche is better just because it's more educational. War story is more education or entertainment. Entertainment content, probably a little easier to get views, but it's also much more competitive and it's also much harder to monetize. So I personally like education a little better. Kevin says, I'm using my logo for now, looking for a better pic, but can't find it. Just take a picture with your phone. VOD plugger. Should I continue uploading a streamer streams on my current channel since it's doing well, or should I start a new channel where I create my own content but build my personal brand from scratch? That's a tough one. I would say maybe introduce yourself on that channel and see how that video does. And maybe just ask the comment section, hey, should I start uploading more of my stuff on the channel, and just see what the response is. It really depends on the situation, VOD plugger. VOD plugger. Sharice says, from your perspective, how do you set up the business tax side to connect? Don't worry about anything when it comes to the business until you're making money. You don't have a business until you're making money. So don't worry about any of the business side of things until you're making money. You don't even have to pay taxes until you get to, well, don't quote me on this. Like, I think it's different state to state, but usually it's around like $10,000 to $12,000 before you even have to pay taxes on it. So just don't worry about it. Literally don't. Again, Sharice, with all due respect, that is the genius inside of you making excuses for why you can't get started. You're thinking of all these other things that don't matter whatsoever instead of doing the thing that actually matters, which is uploading videos, right? Do not worry about the business side of things until you're actually making money. With that being said, once you are making money, there's a bunch of different websites you can use that can kind of help you set up the business. I think it's LegalZoom. This is one website you can use, LegalZoom, to set up your business. And I think it costs like $200 to $500 to get everything all set up, and they do most of the work for you. All right. By the way, guys, if you really want to take YouTube seriously, you want to work with coaches. Just as an example, Meritage, that's something we help people do. We help them set up their funnels, their Calendly. You can jump on live calls with my team to help set that stuff up. If you want to get actual coaching and actual feedback and live help from people, sign up to join the coaching program. We'll put the link in the description and or the chat, and also I think maybe on the screen. I don't know. But yeah, sign up for to apply for the coaching program, where we work with people very closely. I mostly do it on this channel just to help people out, but a lot of the time we work with business owners. We've helped people get, I think, 8 people to 8 figures a year, and like over 20 people to 7 figures a year at this point on YouTube. And then a ton of other people we've helped make really good money on YouTube. So definitely apply for that. Okay, Raul 2.0 is manifesting a good niche. Oh, shoot. Let me go up a little bit. I don't want to skip anybody. Vincent, good evening, Shane. What made you decide on the content you present on YouTube now? Trying to decide between 2 subjects to do content of. I started off just by solving problems for the younger version of myself. I made a bunch of videos on a bunch of different problems that I had solved for the young, at a time that I was younger, that I would have found extremely useful on YouTube. I started researching the videos out there that had already kind of like solved the problems or talked about these problems using the icon method. And then I made a bunch of different videos on a bunch of different stuff. Certain videos took off. They did much better, which indicated there was a lot of demand for people solving those problems. And then I made more videos on that. stuff. So the videos that took off for me initially were the college degree videos. And so I made way more videos on college degrees. Let's see, trading pennies. What is the top 3 niches you see today in the YouTube realm? Wow. Well, it depends on what you mean by top niche, honestly. I think the best niches are ones where they're tiny and you hyper target the right people. So to be honest, I think Meritage's niche is great. Amazing niche because it's an older demographic. They have money. They probably have time to consume content. It's still a good amount of people, but it's very targeted to those people. And yeah, I think that's a great niche to get into. So the best niches are niches that are tiny, and there's no competition, in my opinion. So I have one client who gets 100 to 200 views per video, and he helps with recruiting and placing a very specific position in tech companies. The tech companies have a lot of trouble finding and hiring. I have another client that gets 500 to 1,000 views per video, and he does kind of like he does IT consulting for a very common piece of software that a lot of business owners use. And he basically charges them like $5,000 a year to have like an on-call IT team for that piece of software. Of course, I'm not going to reveal what the niches are because I don't want my clients to have competition. But yeah, the niches like that, honestly. Oh yeah, so the first client, the one 100 to 200 views per video, he makes like 2 million a year. The second client makes like 10 million a year. So yeah, to me, those are the best niches. I mean, you could target a mass market niche, and that's totally fine as well. But that's a lot more work. Your videos have to be way better. Yeah, why not just make a ton of money and be almost anonymous and like only be known by a tiny amount of people? I think that's great. Is manifesting a good niche? Yeah, there's a ton of people interested in that stuff for sure. Heather, I used to have a successful YouTube channel 10 years ago, and I'm hesitant to starting it back up because I have family that judge me. And get my anxiety up. But I have a story about divorce and grief of losing loved ones. It's hard to balance privacy of personal family members and sharing helpful tips. Well, I mean, you can just say a certain family member. You don't have to say who it is. But yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started my channel, I was really nervous because I was in a house of with 7 other guys. So it was a big house. We rented it out. Each of us rented a room, and they could all hear me when I recorded my content. So it was really awkward, and I could tell that they kind of judged me for it a little bit. But again, that's the same problem a lot of people out there have. And so many people give up because of that, or so many people give up because they think their friends are going to find their content or their family's going to find their content and they're going to be embarrassed by it. And whenever you have that, you just need to think to your head, wow, a lot of people, this is a problem and a lot of people are going to give up because of this problem, but I'm not going to give up, which means I'm going to have less competition. So just do it anyways. Charisse, thank you for sharing your answer. There was a lot of comments regarding the business part. I'm in content and knowing the address to address it down the road. I'm grateful we're good to go and take massive action. Awesome, Charisse. Love to hear it. Insides of the perfect storm. No matter if I'm singing a song or have one playing in the background and give credit to the artist in the title description, I get copyright marked on almost all videos. Why? Well, it sounds like, well, if you have it playing in the background, you're definitely going to get copyright strike. You can't have the song playing in the background. But if you sing the song yourself, you shouldn't get copyright marked on the video. That shouldn't be happening. So you must be doing something wrong. Maybe you have like the track playing in the background or something. Maybe try an adjusted track and see if that gets copyright striked. DMF, how to find tiny niches with AI. Made entire videos about this. So Shane Hummus niche research Yeah, this was a good video I made on it, but let me see. Shane Hummus Unfiltered. Watch these videos I made on how to find niches. Watch these videos. Yeah, there's some really, really good stuff I made on how to find niches here. And a lot of it is AI involved. This is my second channel, Shane Hummus Content Growth Engine. Creatives to get 1,000, dedicated fans to get 1,000, meaning who would buy anything. You create and then produce $100 worth of content per year, break 6 figures that way. Yep. Yeah, the 1,000 true fans. I think you're talking about the 1,000 true fans thing, Jason. Yeah, I'd say that's relatively true. Yeah. Gulf South Richard, he makes 2 million a year from 100 to 200 views. Sorry. He makes 2 million a year from 100 to 200 views per video. How many videos a day does he make? I think he uploads a few videos a week, like 3 videos a week. Yeah. Heather, thank you so much. Wendy, Heather, you can be anonymous as well if that's holding you back. Yeah, you can be anonymous. Yep, guys, we're gonna drop the links to apply for a call. Faceless is huge, I think. Yeah, it's somewhat huge, but you still need to have a personal brand because people want to relate to other people. So I'm not saying to make like an AI channel. Seth, work less and earn more. I've had my channel since 2021 and just had 3,000 followers, low views. Should I start from scratch? Absolutely not. Keep working on your channel stuff. Do not start from scratch. Matt says, can you discuss the content mentioned in your email for this stream? 3-step process, hybrid personal brand, 5 income streams. We had some issues with the content, Matt. We're not going to be discussing that. Where do you get your inspiration to get your content? I have trouble finding a niche that is not saturated and actually solves problems or educates kids. But with that being said, Matt, check out this channel here because I talk about all of that stuff on this channel right here. Content Growth Engine. Shane Hummus Content Growth Engine. I put out the absolute, without a doubt, this is the best YouTube content on the internet. It's quite deep, right? This is almost like a course that I'm putting on YouTube. So it's quite deep. And I mean for it to be that way, right? So definitely check out this channel. Like this channel tells you everything you need to know. It is meant for business owners. So it's meant for people that are taking YouTube very seriously. Okay. This is not some kind of like, ooh, you can make money with faceless AI, blah, blah, blah. You know, like this is meant for people who take YouTube seriously. Okay, where do you get inspiration to get your content? I have trouble finding a niche that is not saturated and actually solves problems or educates kids. Well, yeah, so there's really no such thing as saturation in niches. If you think that a niche is saturated, you just need to go deeper, right? So just as an example, you might say, oh, the fitness niche is super saturated. And then, yeah, it is a niche that has a ton of people operating inside of it. But what you'll find is that if you just go deeper in the niche, like fitness for 50 plus, right? Fitness for older people, fitness for older men, fitness for older men that are busy because they're like entrepreneurs, CEOs, lawyers, etc. Right? Fitness for older dads that are busy, right? You see how I'm going deeper each time? Each time I'm going one level deeper. And by the way, that's one of my clients' niches. Actually, it's even one level deeper than that because it's French. He's in the French market. So, yeah, there's really no such thing as saturation. You just have to go deeper, right? So you target people more specifically. Because if it's a bigger niche, like billions of people are interested in fitness, right? So it's a huge niche. So you can target people very specifically, and you're still going to have a ton of people in your market. You know, it's the total adjustable market. That's the term for it. You're still going to have probably millions of people in your market that are interested in that. Autumn, my neighbors can hear me practicing singing and they judge me if but I don't care. There you go. Can you use voice altering to disguise your voice? I wouldn't recommend it, Autumn. I really wouldn't recommend it because Again, people want to relate to other people. 1,000,000% agree. It's the best info if you want to grow on YouTube. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. I thought about being anonymous, but I have my channel and followers already. Guess I'll just bite the bullet. Wish I could block family. LOL. Yeah, I mean, just I would just post it anyways, personally. Um, there's one guy, I saw him, Joshua Fluke. He kind of talked about how his family was kind of involved in a cult and stuff like that, and he kind of got pretty deep on the subject, and it got him a ton of views. I mean, he definitely got a ton of views by doing this. But yeah, he got disowned by his family, and oh, it looks like he might have deleted his videos. Yeah, I think he actually deleted his videos on the subject. But I can tell you, he got a ton of people watching his videos. I mean, he was getting millions of views. It was like he claimed that his family were narcissists. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, it looks like he actually deleted his videos on the subject. But yeah, they got like millions of views, man. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know anything about your family situation, but you know, probably don't name names or anything. But yeah, um, you can definitely make content about that because a lot of people probably relate to that, right? Pizza, why do you and many YouTubers say we or us when talking about their channels? Because we have teams, I guess. As a high school student, should I leave this off for summer since I have exams, or should I use it for my advantage to study for my finals and upload videos on it? My skills aren't pro yet, though. Yeah, definitely don't leave it off. Just start uploading, JJ. Best of luck. Haters gonna hate. Of course. Kevin wouldn't be in here if I didn't think. Actually, funny you mentioned that, Wendy, because when you start, like, if you get no bad comments, if you get no dislikes, anything like that, that's usually a sign that you're not reaching a wider audience. It's when you start getting people that leave like negative comments and dislikes and stuff, that's actually a sign that you're actually tapping into a new audience, which is a really good sign. That means YouTube's pushing your videos. So negative contents can actually be a good sign. Kevin Kraft, wouldn't it be here if I didn't think that was true? I have looked at more channels than I can count. Awesome, Kevin. Appreciate that. Thank you. Steph says, work less and earn more. How many long form per month do you recommend posting? I recommend 3 videos per week is ideal. 3 videos per week is perfect. All right, guys, few spots left. You can book a call. We'll put it down there again. Seeds in 60 seconds. Why is long form video so important? If you can say everything in less than 3 minutes, it goes on a short, get 1,500 views on a short, but usually. Can you learn how to be a doctor in less than 30 seconds? I mean, no offense, but that's kind of just a ridiculous question. Can you learn how to be a doctor in less than 30 seconds? Of course not. Yeah, you have to spend a lot of time on the subject. You have to get really deep on the subject, right? And there's many subjects out there that you have to get deep on. Kevin says, I hear you saying you don't want to do an AI channel, and that's what I just started, an AI creation channel, just creating animations and uploading them. Animations can be good. There's a lot of good animation channels. A lot of good like animation history channels, for instance. So animations can be good. Let me see here. There's a couple that I really like, actually. Let me see here. History Matters. Yeah, that's the 1.8 million subscribers. That's a lot. But there's a couple that. I forgot the names exactly, but there's a ton of like AI or animation channels. I'm not sure how much they. Oh yeah, Oversimplified. That's probably my favorite one. I really like Oversimplified. This channel right here. Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorite channels. Absolutely love this channel. So yeah, you can definitely use AI to help you make animation channels. The first time I showed my face was almost harder than starting. Now I begin with gag just about in every video I make. It's all good, Kevin. It's all good. Um, Seen a few YouTubers get their information hacked and stalked. Don't click on links that people send you in your email. Be extremely careful if anyone sends you a link in your email, especially the email that's attached to YouTube. Um, First time I showed my face was almost harder than starting now. Yep. Can I post the site? Not sure. Sure what's. Yeah, you can post it. Sure. Raul 2.0 is getting the first subscribers the hardest. Absolutely. Yeah, the first ones are the hardest. 100%. In Scooby Life, how do I research my niche to see which deeper niche suits my background? Uh, Check out my channel. Chain Hummus Unfiltered. Check out this channel on niche research. I make videos that are absolute just killer videos on how to research your niche. I think there's one that I talk about on Vaca. This is a really good video. Let me see, which one is that? Reddit. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, your dream YouTube already exists. Here's how to find them. Yep, it's this. It's this one right here. This is a phenomenal video. Check out this video. Um, Let me see here. So it's the details that are important. Thanks for the advice. The details that are important. Yeah. Just I mean, yeah, you can't become a doctor with TikTok videos, you know? Like there's definitely a lot of room for long form videos. If you want to have true mastery over a subject, long form videos are one of the best ways to learn. Silver Raven, how much per class, if you don't mind me asking? We can start people at as low as $1,000. Keep in mind, this is one-on-one coaching. We also like hire for people and stuff. This is like very involved. So you can start for as low as $1,000. Kevin Hughes. Okay, Hessian's AI creation. Let's check this out. Okay, I definitely wouldn't say that it's AI creation. Also, these videos are insanely short, so they're probably not going to get very many views. Um, yeah, these videos are super short. They're not going to get very many views. I would highly recommend if you're going to do videos like this, show how you created them, right? Just show how you did these AI creations, you know, what software you use, like a little tutorial on how you did it, basically. Um, Also, like what is the purpose of this channel? Like you really need to get clear on what is your purpose. Are you just like creating cool little AI stuff? Because if you're doing that, that's fine, but you're probably not gonna here, I'll subscribe to you. You're probably not gonna make any money or anything like that. So what is the purpose of this channel? Are you teaching people how to do AI? Are you just, like what is the purpose? You need to get really clear on that. Entrepreneur spirit. So is the method to make long form videos, then chop them up like YouTube Shorts? Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. Entrepreneur spirit. Yeah, make longer form videos, then chop them up and put them on the other platforms. Pizza, might have missed it, but how long does it take to make videos, and do you make profits off live streams? I think I make a very tiny amount of money off live streams. It's not really my purpose for the live streams to make money from them. But yeah, you can definitely profit off live streams. The live streamers are making good money. How long does it take to make videos? When you're first starting, I recommend spending an absolute maximum. This is the maximum amount of time you'd spend is 3 hours per video. That is the absolute max. And that means 3 hours on everything. So don't spend any more than 3 hours per video when you first get started. Ideally, you can even do less than that when you first get started, like less than an hour per video. If you got your doctor license on TikTok, I'm gonna run away from your offense. Yeah. Yep. Concerned American. I don't currently have an internet presence. Should I create that first before booking a call? It doesn't matter either way. We can help you with that. We can help you select your niche. That's one thing we commonly do is help people select their niche. So that's totally fine. Kevin, just uploading for now. Yes, sir. Gulf South. I see a lot of channels covering many different topics using real news footage, talk show footage, even taking clips from Joe Rogan. How did they not get copyrighted? Like what happens with music? Well, music is just a whole different ball game, Richard. First of all, you can take small clips from, podcasts and stuff, and that's totally fine. Also, some podcasts are very, liberal about how much they let people clip them, and then other podcasts, want to get paid. That's another thing to keep in mind. So yeah, it's music is a whole different ball game, right? Music has been around for a long time. People, the copyright is taken very seriously with music. Not so serious with podcasts. But yeah, if you take small clips and it's transformative, right? Read YouTube's terms of service. It needs to be transformative, right? Honey Bear Tunes. My passion is for kids and parents. I have a small faceless channel with about 8 videos so far with a bit over 400. Oh, that's awesome. Good stuff. But it's tough to choose between what I'm passionate and what works. Yeah, so this is the common problem that a lot of people have. And what you want to first do, Honey Bear, when you first start out, is lean towards more of the what works side. And then as your channel gets bigger, you can lean towards more of the passion side. But you really need to focus on solving problems for other people, right? Put other people first. And then once you're making money and you've built up your audience, then you can start leaning more towards your own passion side of things. That's generally speaking the best way to do it. Pizza, any simple and free programs to make some short tunes that won't. It's kind of like here's a analogy, right? If you're first getting hired for a job, you want to make sure that you're good at your job first, right? So you need to focus on making sure you're good at your job, you're supporting the company, you're adding value to the company. Later on down the line, let's say you're getting a bit bored with your job, you might talk to your manager or something and be like, hey, maybe I can try out a different position. Maybe I can, get promoted to this position, that kind of thing. Right. Later on, once you've established yourself as being able to provide value, that's when you would say, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Right. You don't do that right off the bat. If you do that right off the bat, you're probably going to they're going to be like, oh, thank you, but we're going to go with somebody else. Pizza, any simple and free programs to make some short tunes that won't get a strike? I think a good one is Suno. Yeah, Suno is really good at making short tunes. It's actually insanely good. Suno is amazing at that. Check that out. Once uploaded a video, I got a warning for using a copywritten song. I wrote that song. It was my music. Yeah, they're getting ridiculous with the copyright strike stuff. Yeah. Shane, what do you think of trademark or copyrights on content that is created, or does YouTube own your content? Trademarks on copyrights on content. No, you own your content. YouTube hosts it, but you own it. Like they can't redistribute the content without your permission. Deny stylized. How long is the class? What's provided and what's included in the $1,000 class? Check out the link to see all that information. Denice. Check out the link to see all that information. I quit adding music to my stuff. Yeah, if it's not necessary, I'd probably just wouldn't add music to it just to be safe. Yeah, unless it's necessary, right? But you can make music with Suno. Suno is an AI music creation, and you can make some simple tunes with Suno. All right, guys. So I think that's about it. I was going to go over some stuff. I kind of had a little bit of a yap session I wanted to go over. I suppose I'll do it really quickly. I am done answering questions at this point, but I do want to go over a little bit of a yap session here. So one thing that I think helps, especially when you're a small channel, is making controversial content. Yeah. So let's talk about Meet Kevin. When he first started, he started 14 years ago on YouTube. He was making all kinds of random content like this, and he really wasn't getting much traction. Now, you might see like 7,000 views, but keep in mind, this is, most of these probably came after he'd already gotten famous and people just like going back and watching his channel. These videos were basically getting no views when he first started. And by the way, that's another thing. Your videos that you upload, they might be getting no views. Once you have a video pop off, the views are going to start to trickle into those videos, right? So he was getting no views, no views, no views. And then look what he started doing. This was his first ever video that popped off. It was a little bit of a controversial video. And it wasn't that controversial. He basically just said he disagrees with Graham Stephan on a few things. Why? Because Graham Stephan was popping off at the time. Then he started making these videos. And by the way, keep in mind, this was after not getting any traction whatsoever. Then he started making videos on other YouTubers that were popping off a little bit. Tanner J. Fox, Beat the Bush, Grant Cardone, right? He made a video on Grant Cardone. Now, this is a little bit controversial, right? At the time, it was like very milquetoast controversial, right? Just like, hey, like, for instance, his video on Graham Stephan, you can watch it if you want, but he's basically just like, I disagree with Graham Stephan on XYZ, right? The video on Grant Cardone, kind of the same thing. But then you look how much this video popped off, 470,000 views. So one thing you guys can do, and I would recommend looking into this, do some research. This is very important. Do not ever attack somebody's character. You don't know them. You have no idea who they are. You've never met them. So you cannot confidently attack somebody's character, right? So never attack somebody's character, but you can disagree with their ideas all day long, right? And you can make the thumbnail a little bit clickbaity. So this is what Meet Kevin did, right? Grant Cardone and Cardone Capital Exposed. This is what made his channel take off originally, is making like a little bit controversial content. All right. Little bit controversial. And he continued doing this. Minority Mindset Missed This. Lies and the Brian Casella Operation, How Courses Fail. Et cetera, et cetera. Controversial, right? These are the videos that were doing the best for him. Is the controversial content, right? 5 lowest ROI renovations with a picture of Graham Stephan. Right? So see where you can add just a little bit of controversy into your content. Now, the reason that this can do really well, what Jeremy Financial Education didn't tell you, the reason this can do very well is, well, first of all, controversy sells. I mean, just turn on the news, right? Controversy, it's just drama, 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 controversy, 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 right? So controversy sells. People love watching stuff that's a little bit dramatic. The second reason is because it's other people in your niche, right? Or it's other people that might be involved in your niche. And, that can, that attracts the right audience, right? And then the third reason is when you're small, almost nobody, there's this saying, right? It's called never punch down. All right. So, and this is a saying that successful people kind of know about, right? Generally speaking, if you're significantly smaller than someone else and you make a video about them, they're not going to retaliate almost ever. But there are exceptions, but almost never they're going to retaliate, right? And it's just this saying, never punched out, right? This is something that successful people generally do, right? They don't punch down. So, because you can't get water from a stone, right? Now, if a super successful person, someone who's really successful, makes dramatic, drama content, that's when they're kind of likely to get sued, especially if they personally attack the person. If they personally attack the person, that's when they're going to get sued. So just keep in mind, guys, do not personally attack people, okay? Attack their ideas, argue with their ideas, but don't attack the person themselves. Very important. Saying this person is a terrible person versus saying, I disagree with this person's ideas, I think they're terrible. two completely different things. You must understand this. Like, do not say someone is a terrible person or XYZ. Say, I think their ideas are terrible. I totally disagree with them, right? Very, very different things. The first one is illegal in many countries, literally illegal in like a significant amount of countries around the world. For instance, in Vietnam, this is literally illegal to say this is a terrible person. The second one is legal in almost all countries. There are exceptions, but in the U.S., it's certainly legal, and it's quite difficult to get sued for that kind of thing. But so be careful with this stuff, guys. I have a whole module about how to make stuff a little bit controversial. So be careful with this stuff. But you can see that you know. This is a way to grow your channel and get some traction when you first start. Also, I recommend you stop doing this after you get to maybe 10 to 30,000 subscribers. Stop. Don't use drama and controversial content anymore. Because for one, that's when you could potentially get sued, right? Because you're starting to get big enough to where people think that you might actually have something, right? And then the second thing is you're going to attract like an entire audience full of like kind of negative people. And so you want to kind of turn it and twist it in a positive direction. So an example of this is Shane Hummus, the most useless degree. So this is a little bit of drama content that I made when I first started, the most useless degrees. Again, not super dramatic, but I just talked about degrees that I think are, kind of useless. And a lot of people agreed with me, 4.2 million. But a lot of people also disagreed with me. And you'll see in the comment section, like a lot of people disagreeing with me. That helps, right? When people start arguing in the comment section, it helps. So, when I first started my channel, this is one of the videos that initially blew me up. But I recommend not sticking with kind of controversial content after you get past a certain point, because you're just going to attract an audience of like negative people if you do that. You initially attract people, get the ball rolling with controversial content, and then after that, you need to spin it in a positive direction, right? Generally speaking, that's what I recommend. So yeah, this is a pro tip, guys. I thought I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of how to do this and kind of some of the examples as well. Yeah, guys, I think that's about it. Have a good one. Take care. And I will see you guys maybe next week. Maybe. We'll see. We'll send it out over email if I'm doing one next week. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye.